All right, kids. I was planning to do this in two parts. I was also planning to do this I don't know, 2 months ago. But here we go. Here's the delayed reaction or delayed review, whatever you want to call it, to Stranger Things season 4, part 1 and 2. Wow, there's a lot going on in this episode or this season. Goodness gracious, we have like 5 different storylines going on. A little much at times. There were times in the story that you almost forgot about a different plot, a small plot. You forget about the high school drama with the boys basketball team and all their craziness. You forget about almost Hopper in Russia. You forget about the West Coasters, including 11 at some points. Just a very lengthy and very complex, I guess, story. And they all are very different in pressure and how they're filmed, which is kind of nice. It's almost like you're having 4 different movies at the same time, 5 different movies at the same time. I think overall, I think this is one of my favorite seasons of Stranger Things. I don't know if you can surpass season 1, just for the sheer awe of a new kind of series, a new kind of kind of genre. I will say genre, even though it's stealing everything from the 80s. So kind of I'll kind of limit it there, but I think this might be. I think it goes season number 1, and then season number 4 in my book. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments, but I feel like that's the case, at least in my book. I think from a bad guy perspective, I liked Vecna better than a giant spider. Well, first off, I guess I found out that it was a spider. I didn't realize, I guess at the time, I don't know. I thought it was something else. I'm not big into D&D, and I don't know if it's a D&D thing, to be quite honest with you. That said, the new movie for D&D looks actually pretty good. Anyway, I digress. I think most of the actors did pretty well. I'm actually on the I'll actually say that I was not really a fan of, I think it's Argyle is his name. I just was not a fan of his character. I get what they're trying to do. I'm not a fan. I think the shooting scene that we saw in California, I guess with Argyle, that was extremely well done. I saw the behind the scenes on that and the one shot kind of process on that with a phone in order to film it. It was pretty incredible. You saw a lot of progression with character developments. I think some of the Russia drama kind of was drawn on a little bit more. Actually, I mean, there's times when I thought a lot of this was kind of drawn out more. I was not a fan of the whole storyline from the boys basketball team at all. I really don't know the point of it. I don't think it gave much value, to be quite honest. And in the end, it kind of just shut up. I don't even know his name. The main basketball player, point guard, stud, just gets split in half with, in the house. So, but I just don't. You had some hate in the town hall meeting with him, but I just think overall, I don't really feel like they gave that much to it. Maybe it added to the sadness. I think this is the only thing, is that it added to the sadness of when our boy died. An uncle, I don't remember the uncle's name, was sitting there, and everybody in the town was hating on, his nephew, Eddie. And I think that maybe is the part that that basketball team kind of draws in a little bit. But other than that, I don't, we'll see. The house in Utah was a little strange, with Dustin's girlfriend. It is what it is. I think it served its purpose. Short, sweet. Susie was good. I think the overall Demogorgon stuff in Russia was interesting. Breaking out of the prison, getting caught, breaking out of the prison, going back in. You know, it's a lot to kind of go from there. And then the airplane stuff was kind of, I don't know, kind of, but I'll say it's kind of strange to see all these kids, you know, from season 1 to season 4. And when you hire kids, you don't really sometimes know what you're going to get when they're older. You know, what do we see them when they're 13, 12, 13, 14? Now you're 20s, you know, early 20s. It's kind of crazy to see, like, most of these are still pretty decent, at least at the high school acting they're doing. You know, it's pretty consistent. But I think overall, you know, I was impressed. The music was pretty on point throughout the whole season. I know my wife's favorite song is the Journey song. Before that's her favorite Journey song. So it's kind of cool to see a Stranger Things remix. But I will say, you know, I'm not big on TikTok. My wife is. If I have to listen to Running Up the Hill or even Metallica one more time, I might lose my cool. We'll kind of see. Anyway, the music was on point. It was kind of cool to see the backstory of Vecna and how that was done with Baby 11. CGI was terrible, but Baby 11 and then Vecna kind of having a relationship there. Or I guess in that case, it was one. That was before Henry. It was just one. And you saw that it was Henry Creel, you know, related to the Creel family. It's just kind of intertwined, very interesting on how that plays out. It wasn't a series that you're like, yeah, I know how that's going to end, or I know that's how it's going to be. So I think that was well played out, and I appreciate that. And then we get to a point where you get to see at the very end, I don't know what Max is going to be. She's broken. She's, you know, in a comatose state. We'll kind of see how that plays out. And then I think the last season, I kind of hope it's the last season. I don't want them to overdo this. I think they did say they wanted to end it at 5. I hope they stay true to that. So we continue to see, you know, quality content that's not overdone. That's my short synopsis. I had to look at the time to make sure that I was still under time. Sometimes I get carried away. I think it was pretty close to a 10 out of 10. We are going to watch it again for sure. We did binge the first 3 seasons again before we watched season 4, so it was kind of entertaining. But yeah, we'll watch this again, and recommend if you haven't watched it. But if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry for spoiling literally everything. See you in the next one.